Hello! Thank you very much for tuning into this current pick-a-read, which is valid for whenever you come to it. The subject I'm going to use for this one is your next adventure. So, just information about the next adventure, whether it's something you're expecting or not. And I'm guessing the cards might even point that out if it's something that you think is coming, or maybe something you're not planning for that you might want to be aware of. Here are the decks I'm going to be using for this. The first one is the Star Tarot by Kathy McLeland. I usually show the websites if I can find it. Kathy McLeland. There is Kathy's. Is it showing up on camera? Please show up on camera. Hopefully you can see that. Her website. There we go. That's her website, how you spell her name. So if you want to see her stuff, check out her stuff. The Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman. There's the stuff on the back there to find Tori Hartman. Watkins Publishing is also on there. I think this is illustrated by Gretchen Reichbaskin. Yep, Reichbaskin. So, information on that one. This one's also a Tori Hartman deck. Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. So you still have her website. And there's the same information. Watkins Publishing, Tori Hartman's website. Who's the second person on this one? Artwork by Katrina Sokolova. And the last one is the Morgan Greer Tarot, which I've had for a long time. Here's the box, the beat up box. I've had it so long I don't believe there's any type of website on this thing. But in case that, like 1979. Not quite as old as I am, but almost. Jeez. I don't think this deck is... I think this is a reprint. I just don't see a website for them. But if you're interested, feel free. Okay, and here are your choices. Oh, alright. I forget the name of this stone. This actually is... the reason this is first is because the person... Recently, a friend of mine gave this to me, and the person who gave this to me makes me think of adventure, because she seems like a very adventurous person. That's kind of why, that's what inspired this reading, honestly. So, I know she sent me an email with the name of this rock, so I have to go find that email. It should be in the description below, but this is pile 1. This is Tourmaline, Albite, I believe. It has some pretty colors in it. It's got, hopefully you can see the darker colors in there too. Like there's a purplish mauve, maroon going on there. There's some sparkles in there. So that's number 2. The third one I always think of as the Peacock Stone. We'll see in the direction. If I don't get the right name for it, just please drop me a little, comment. Tell me what this is, if you know or if you think you know. I just think of it as the Peacock Stone. This one is number 4. It is obvious, even though my brain went blank. Starts with an A. Oh, for the love of Pete. What is it? Oh my god, it's such a popular... It's the purple stone will be number 4. By that time, I'll remember what you call it. Like, I call this... the 5th one, I'm just going to move on from it, is Amazonite. This is like a little pale green to it. Hopefully you can see it on camera. Not ambrosia. What is it? What are you? Amethyst. Hello. There we go. Number 4 is Amethyst. The reason I have 5 decks, by the way, is that in case you're kind of like, I'm not sure what one to pick, I kind of want the universe to help me. I recommend using a dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just go with what it chooses. Perfect. And if it comes up with number 6, I would say that the universe is telling you, thanks for watching, but this one isn't for you. Okay, just making it simple. So feel free to freeze frame, use a dice, don't use a dice, use your intuition, whatever works for you. I know some people get a little bit flustered with these. I see comments on other videos and sometimes on mine where people don't like that intuition connection. They just, want it by their sign or something like this. If you're stumbling but you want to participate, just find yourself a dice, roll it. For example, it just hit 4. All right, then I'm going to do this one, which is not in my brain. I said it. Starts with an A. Amethyst. Why am I so stumbling on the amethyst? Wow. Alright, so What I'm going to do also is I'm going to shuffle the cards when we choose the stone. So we're going to shuffle them as we go, and that way we don't have pre-cards set. And let's see what it turns out. Thank you. So pile 1. Okay, so I actually shuffled these a little bit. I'm going to shuffle the rest of them as we go. But let's see what we have for your next. Are we going to fit in camera for the last one? I feel like I have one more. I'm going to stuff it there. That's like your best case scenario. Okay, so that top card is like what you can do, what you have the most control over, what can go the best. Ironically, it is the Emperor. The Emperor is kind of like a very... To me, the Emperor is a take no prisoners type energy. Kind of like, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it my way. Usually, the Emperor actually is negotiable, but you better be very on point and very honest. If you try to play any games or you sugarcoat things, you're going to get the business side of a sword. It's not going to be fun. So you want to be very honest, very direct, very forthcoming. And they're saying for you, whatever your next adventure is, go for what you want, be very direct about what you want. If you kind of go around and just kind of skirt around the situation, or kind of like, well maybe, or you're kind of halfway in, halfway out, you're probably going to fail. That's also an energy I get with the Emperor card. It's not a halfway energy. In my opinion, because it does kind of resonate with Aries. It doesn't have to mean you're an Aries or you're dealing with an Aries. But the energy I get from this reminds me of that, in the sense of like, halfway is a fail. You're either in or you're out. If you're halfway in, you're actually out. So if you want to actually make this a success, you need to be in, you need to be all in. If you're not all in, don't even bother. You got a lot of communication coming in. So you seem to be knowing what you want to do, even if this is coming forward out of something you don't really like. Like, I feel like the situation might be starting off on the wrong foot. When this adventure comes in, it may be starting off on the wrong foot, or maybe the wrong person's involved, or for example, maybe it's a business trip. And you're like, I didn't really want to do this, but I have to do this. So they're saying with the devil and the sword, you have a lot of communication, you have a lot of negotiability, but if you're going to really make this work out, you have to take control. You have to be all in. You have to be like, listen, since I'm doing this, it's going to go my way as much as it can. I have certain responsibilities. I have certain things I have to do, certain requirements, certain things that are required of me or expected of me, and I will take care of those. But the rest of this is what's going to happen. This is how I'm going to lead it. This is what I'm demanding for it to be. So the Devil card is kind of like, part of this is out of your control. Part of this is definitely out of your control, but they're saying whatever is in your control, you need to be on point with. You can't go halfway with it. Like, if any part of this that can go your way, you need to make go your way, and you do have the ability to do so. You have to be very strong, very stable, and not do second billing on that. You may get some pushback, but I'm getting, even if you get some pushback, you got the Three of Pentacles saying just don't give up, hold to it, just be monotonous if you have to, and just keep pushing forward. Don't back down, don't give in. You should be fine. There's energy coming in with it. I'm going to shuffle another deck here. This is like the Wisdom Oracle, I think, that I showed in the beginning. It's one of Tori Hartman's decks. It's not the Tarot, it's the other one, so it's the Oracle deck, yeah. So what do we have? Yeah, this will go more your way. There will be confusion. Somebody might play the victim. It does not have to be you. Somebody may, and other people might whine and complain. How come you get your way? How come you can get what you want? I don't get what I want. Well, get a backbone. Maybe you will. Wow, that was harsh. Sorry. Wow, this energy is strong. So they're saying you might have to be strong like that. Kind of like, listen, I can't play the poor me game. I can't play the poor me game and make this work out. I'm in control of my situation. If you can't be in control of yours, well, that's on you. Not for nothing, I'm assuming you're dealing with other adults. Now, if you're dealing with children or somebody you have to take care of, you have their best interest at heart. Make sure they have something that will help them out, but you decide what that is. So, for example, if you have children you're looking after, or children are a part of this, or maybe there's some people who have special needs, and that can run the gamut, that you have to look out for. You decide what's best for them. You decide what's going to work for you and them. You make that happen. They're probably going to complain about whatever you do anyway. So I'm getting the whole poor me card here with the victim. This is one of the times where I'm not feeling like somebody is a victim. I feel like somebody is playing the victim. And I know that might not be very politically correct to say, but in this situation, I feel like, listen, I'll make sure you have what you need, I'll make sure you're taken care of, but I can't sit here and just let you whine me to death. Because, I can't have it. I just can't do it. You're going to kill me. You're going to suck the life out of me. There's going to be some confusion around this. People are going to make you feel like, not fair, not fair. We got to keep moving forward. Do your best with what you think is fair. You got to take the lead. You got to be all in. You got to make it happen. Let's just do maybe a couple more cards just to see if there's anything else with this we want to talk about. The energy's fast with this. Although I tend to be fast with picker reads, so I don't mean to be that way. You might want to slow down. Like if you're watching this on YouTube, you might want to slow down how fast it goes. Over in the corner, I think you can put it down to half speed or maybe 75%. So it goes a little slower if I'm talking too fast. Sorry about that. The energy is quick here, though. I feel like I don't have a lot of time to just sit here and negotiate it out. I'm like, listen, I got stuff to do. I got things I want to get done. Okay. Yeah, you're going to pick what's best. See, when I'm getting the Two of Cups with the victim, I really do feel like you're going to do what's best for them. I just feel like somebody wants to complain. Somebody wants to complain. If you don't let them complain, if you just kind of listen, I don't have time for this poor me show. I don't have time for the so sad show. I just don't have time for it. I made sure you have things. There's things for you to do. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to have a place to sleep. You're going to have food, whatever you need to do for this person or whoever it is. You're taking care of them. You've made sure that they have entertainment is what I'm getting. Because I get you're finding what's good for you and making that happen. And you're also making sure that other people, you're not taking advantage of anybody. At least I'm not feeling that here. They're going to kind of pull your heartstrings a little bit. And they're going to make you feel bad a little bit. The trick is to just keep going forward and realize in the long run, you're going to realize it wasn't that bad. That's the thing about the moon card. When the sun comes up the next day, you find out what was really out in the backyard. You realize, oh, it wasn't a crazy monster just looming out in the backfield. It was actually that tree and the way the wind was blowing with those weeds all around it. So I see what it actually was now. Come the light of day, I know what actually was going on there, and I don't feel bad about it anymore. I'm still going fast. There's a fast energy. I also have this card at the bottom of the deck. I just noticed I flipped that out, which is the Queen of Cups. Do what you need to do. Another thing with this moon card that I'm getting with this Queen of Cups is somebody else might be complaining that they're not getting what they want, but they're not telling you the truth about something. There's something about this whole situation that is not being said to you or not being told to you. So when somebody's complaining that this isn't what they want or that's not going to work for them, and I feel like you probably will even ask them, well, what do you want? And they won't tell you, or they'll just kind of give you roundabout answers. It's because they're holding secrets. And if they're going to hold secrets, that's more reason for you to do what you want, because when you do what you want, later you're going to find out what they were actually up to and what actually didn't work out for them, because it'll all come out in the wash, if you follow me. So if it's not strong enough or not important enough for them to come forward and tell you the truth about what they want, maybe it's something they shouldn't be doing anyway. Do what you think is right. You have to be in control. The Emperor is definitely somebody who's in control. The Empress is also, so it doesn't matter the gender. Whoever you are, whatever gender you are, this is just somebody who's in control, and it has to go your way. It can't be halfway. You can't do halfway. I know I said that in the beginning, but that's really, really important. If you do halfway, you're going to fail. And I'm getting the strength of the miracle saying you're going to have to hold to it. You're going to want to back down. You're going to want to give in. Don't. I know readings are for entertainment purposes only, so take it with a giant mountain full of salt, of course. But they're saying if you back off or you let this poor me energy kind of win you over a little bit, it's going to make this whole thing a crap shot. It's just not going to be good. It's just going to be, it's going to be no fun. Halfway is a fail. I'm telling you, halfway is not going to do it. If you're all in, if you make it what you want it to be, it will be good. If you play halfway or let somebody else co-create with you on this one, this is not a situation to be co-creating with. This is just not the time for it. Sometimes it is. Sometimes that's valid. This is just not one of them. The Hierophant also is a planner. So there should be a stage in this, when this Devil card shows up, this has to be done, you have to be a part of it. There should be a stage in the beginning where you get to create the plan. So for example, say you're going to have to go on a trip in a month and a half, and you get told today, in a month and a half, you have to go on this business trip. Okay, it has to go your way. Remember that. So make things go the best you can. Put that plan out there, what you plan to do. If you want, say, give them, like, whoever else is going with you, give them a week, no more than a week, and kind of like, I'm finalizing this plan in a week. If you have a problem with it, you need to tell me before the week is up. You might even want to, like, 2 days beforehand say, here's just a heads up because I'm finalizing plans. If you haven't said any problems, then we're going forward and this is what's happening. But still, hold yourself to that 1 week, kind of like, listen, after the week's up, I'm finalizing the plans. If you haven't given me a really good reason why we should do something differently, I'm not doing it. I'm not playing the poor me game. I'm not going to do the hem and haw thing. I'm not going to go, well, maybe, well, this. We're not going to drag our feet on it. I give you 1 week to tell me if you have a problem, and then I will work it out. But you still, if you're going to work out a problem with somebody, you got to have that deadline, and you still have the final say, like yes or no. As long as it's worked out within that week, and you're all in, kind of like, all right, this is the solution. I'm all in with it. I'm comfortable with it. This is okay with me. Yes, let's do that. If you're kind of allowing a decision or you're allowing something to change and you're not really comfortable with it, that's kind of a red flag. Be aware of this devil card. You have to be comfortable with whatever the updates are. So, for example, if somebody's like, well, I want to fly in like a couple hours early, and this is why, and I think if I go by myself, it's fine. I just want to get in there early so we can get ahead of the game. And part of you is like, well, I mean, we could actually do that. It wouldn't be that big a deal financially. But something in the back of your head's going, not a good idea. I don't feel comfortable with this. Somebody getting there 2 hours early, I just feel like this is a bad idea. Then say no to it. Even though on paper you're looking at it going, you know what, I don't see why not. But emotionally you're saying, I'm not comfortable with it. Do not do it. Do not do it. You're the one in control. You call the shots. If you're not comfortable with it, no, then it's not happening. I'm very harsh with this one, I'm noticing. I hope I'm not coming off like a real monster, but, you know, if I am, then I guess I am. Anything else with this? All right, I think that's it for pile 1. At the end, I should have said this in the beginning. If you liked the reading, I would love a thumbs up. If you thought the reading was valid, but maybe you didn't like it, I would still appreciate a thumbs up if you thought it was on. Also, if you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That'll be in the bottom below, too. So it's james4astral@gmail.com. There's also the donation information below as well. Thanks for watching, and if you want to watch another pile, feel free. Otherwise, thank you. Hello, Pile 2. Thank you for choosing Pile 2. They're the stone. It's the Tourmaline Albite, I believe. I think it's Albite. That's what I got typed in here. So wherever I bought it from, that's what they called it. It's from Brazil, in case that matters to anybody. So what is your next adventure? So, I may have to pull these back just a little bit. And yeah. And the one at the top is your advice. Ooh, okay. So this is the first part. I'm feeling with this. My first thing when I saw this card right here, you're going to have a life-changing event happen during this situation. I don't know if you're planning on that or not, but like life before and life after this adventure is different. It's like you look at things differently, you handle things differently, you may be in a different location, especially with the Three of Wands here. And it's something that's going to stick around for a long time. You do need to be in control of this, but you need to take it very slowly, and you need to listen to the people around you very carefully. The thing is with the King of Pentacles, and don't get caught up in the gender, when they're at their strongest, they pay attention, they know who to pay attention to. So for example, how do I put this? Say like you have the Fool jumping around the courtyard. They're the one who would look at the Fool and kind of like, does the Fool actually know something and is just dropping subtle hints, or does the Fool actually know something? They're likely to pay attention and kind of like, let me look below the surface. Like, does this person actually know something, or do they not? There could be other people come at you very serious, very direct, and you're like, you're talking out your butt, and I know it. You think you know things, you do not know things. So you have to kind of discern people right off the bat, whether they're it's not about their demeanor. It's not about if they believe what they're talking about. It's if you think that they know something. Like the Fool, for example. I'm using a drastic difference here. The Fool may know things, but not have the courage to come forward and tell people. And you might be like, hey, I know you know stuff. Just tell me what you know. It's all cool. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to hold you accountable for things. I just want to know what you're seeing, just so I have a little bit of a edge up on this, and I can research things myself. Just let me know what you saw. That's all I want to know. Meanwhile, this other one who comes across super serious, I know everything, I planned all of life, I am the reason for creation and the sun and moon and stars, you're welcome. When that person shows up, you can be like, yeah, okay, I gotta go. Thank you, send me an email. Yeah, I'll be sure not to read that. Okay, have a good one. You gotta discern people. Right off the bat, you gotta pay attention, think about who you should be listening to, who you shouldn't be. Also, read between the lines. If you have somebody coming towards you very seriously, trying to change your mind, you might want to like read between the lines, like, why is it so important for them to change my mind? Like, why are they trying to manipulate you? Like, we don't want to just recognize that they're trying to manipulate you. We want to know why. We need to get a little deeper, because justice is coming out here at some point for you, and we need to know what's coming and why. This is a big change. I do want to get some like clarifiers on the world and justice. So let me just take this other deck. This big change. I know it's a big change, and that's good. And I'm saying that because I see the justice card going, I believe, to your favor. We'll find out in a minute. Justice is justice. So it's kind of like one of those things where justice is justice. Whether we like it or not, justice is justice. It's just one of those things. Sometimes we agree with it, sometimes we don't. Justice is kind of like, well, if you agree, if you don't, it's all the same to me. Justice is justice. The Three of Wands is coming again. History, a lot of history, the Knight of Cups. So you're going to like this outcome. I got two more cards. The other person, somebody else is, yeah, Judgment. Okay, all right, so I'm feeling somebody like just trying to manipulate you. I do feel that coming in. When I saw the Three of Swords, because this one's up closer to you, it's like, this is your strength, this is what you have to do, or what is best for you. If you take this role, this will work out, the situation will work out best. So the connecting card here is the Knight of Cups. I feel like if you handle this with a lot of strength and you hold true to your convictions, like this is what I need, this is what I want, this is how this will go. You also have this Ace of Pentacles going to your benefit. Then we'll be fine. Just make sure you're happy. You should feel good about the direction you're going. Now, good in the sense of like, it's good for you. Which may sound selfish, I get you, but it's not really in the long run. Because you got this manipulative energy around you that's kind of like, yeah, but listen, person. Listen, pile number 2 person. This is how it's supposed to go. This is what I've been planning for. This is what you're supposed to do. You have to do it like this. You have to do it like that. This is how it has to go. And they're trying to push judgment in their favor. The thing is, you're creating the Ace of Pentacles. You're not bound by the Ace of Pentacles, if that makes sense. Like, this is not somebody else's Ace of Pentacles that you have to follow their rules. This is your Ace of Pentacles. You need to decide it. You need to define it. It's very dominant, obviously, as I'm tapping my finger here, because there's big changes coming on. There's probably travel. Just to be fair, I have seen the Three of Wands come in with like a major change, but usually a change that's welcome, a change that you expect, a change that you're going towards. So if it is a change and not like an actual move, it's an accepted, wanted change. And they may be, somebody's kind of trying to tell you like, hey, no, pile 2 person, this is the rules. I'm telling you the rules. And then you have to be like, oh, no, no, no. No, this is my life. And when it's my life, guess what? It's my rules. Even if you work for someone else, they don't get to decide, what you have for breakfast. They don't get to decide what type of relationships you have, what type of car you drive, where you live, how you live. They don't get any of that. What they get is they give you a paycheck when you do the job that you've agreed on to do for them. And if they start doing things that you don't like, you agree to leave that job and they can find somebody else to screw over. Ooh, that was harsh. So, I don't know. If this is a job thing, that was harsh. That really was. All right. Your energy has to be strong. I get that. Because I feel the energy getting really strong and really dominant. Which, yeah, enlightenment. You got to find out what's going on. they're gonna play on your. They're gonna play with you. These two cards here are like they're underlying manipulator cards for this situation. It's like what lies under the judgment. Somebody's trying to use guilt, and they're trying to play on your insecurities. You have to see past it. You have to see through it. The best way to do that is to find out why they want to manipulate you. If you do that, I feel like this goes a lot easier. And it's kind of like, you know, maybe, I don't know how this is going to sound, but this is literally what popped in my head. Working through the people around them. Maybe just finding out people that you know in common, or maybe snooping on some social media. Like, what is the big deal? Why do they want this so bad? What is the issue that they're trying to push me this way for? Because you can't allow it. And once you see through the fog, you see, once you're enlightened with why they're really trying to do this, these cards, they're gone. They're done. Because once you see through it, it won't bother you. If you can't see through it, you simply have to hold strong and just not let them manipulate you. You got to make sure you're happy with your outcome. Because again, you got the World card coming here at the bottom. So life's going to be different. This is a big change, a whole new phase. It's kind of like going into your teen years, is the best way I can put it. In the sense of like, you don't really choose when it starts. It just starts when it starts. And, you know, like, you don't really get out of that puberty stage. Ironically, from what I've recently found out, some people don't get out of it until like their mid to late 20s when their brain finishes developing. So it could go on for a while. So we're talking like, what? Anywhere from 7 to 15 years this could last, which I'm getting for a lot of you, it literally could last that long. So maybe think of it in that context. What you're going towards, what you're deciding, what you're agreeing to, could last anywhere from 7 to 15 years. And I feel like if you think about it in that context, you're kind of like, well, if I'm going to be doing it for that long, I'm going to have to be really happy with it. You really need to be happy with it. So again, seeing through whatever the reason is they're trying to manipulate you, that will get rid of this guilt and insecurity. You won't have to worry about it. If you can't find out, because I guess some of you, I mean, it's a general read, some of you won't be able to find out for whatever reason. Maybe there's ethics in question. You're kind of like, well, that's not right for me to do, and you just like, I can't cross that line. Understandable, that's your business. But even if you can't, you still have to hold true to what you want, because this could last between 7 to 15 years, and you don't want to get halfway through that going, oh, I just wish I wish I held a little stronger and I would have been a lot happier now, 3-5 years into it. You know what I mean? So, is there anything else? There's a lot of energy here. These last two cards I saw at the bottom of the deck, they just kind of were ajar. It's acceptance and dissipating. Once the situation starts with, like this travel thing, it's like once the decision is acted on. So to make it really simple, say you're moving. Once you've stepped foot in the place you live, the new place you live, then the acceptance will start taking over, and this whole situation will dissipate. Whoever was trying to manipulate you, they will get over it or move on in whatever way necessary. So how else can I say this? Or if it's a business decision, maybe you're changing departments or something is changing major. Once the first day of the actual new change takes effect, once that first day happens, the acceptance will start coming in, and then things will slowly dissipate. So in case that helps you, it makes this a little bit better for you. Hopefully it's more empowering, I hope. Okay, there's a lot of energy with this one too. The first pile and this pile had a lot of energy in it. I think we're good though. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope that helped. If you'd like a direct reading from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. The donation information is below. I'd also ask, if you like this reading, please give it a thumbs up. If you thought it was correct, but maybe you didn't like it, but you were like, yeah, no, the message is true, I just don't like it, I would ask you give it a thumbs up still. If you want. Comments are always welcome too. Thank you very much, and you have a good day. Hello, Pile 3, the Peacock Stone. Hopefully by this point, when I put this video up, I remember or find what that stone is. Thank you for joining us. This is your next adventure. The first deck I've shuffled, the other ones I haven't. So let's see what is your next adventure. Ooh, that's a little spicy, isn't it? I say that and then the King of Swords or King of Wands comes out. Don't give up. I don't always use the bottom cards, but you got 2 cards at the bottom, the Seven of Swords and the High Priestess. You may think it's better for you to give up before this situation even starts. Keep in mind, just keep it in the back of your head, maybe this time not walk away from this possibility. Because when I'm seeing the hanged person here, the hanged one, I'm kind of getting, maybe you've been a little bit stagnant for a while. Maybe you haven't really moved forward in any dramatic way. You have a very defined comfort zone, and you stay within yours, and other people are to stay out of it. This is kind of the type of person where I'm like, if I go somewhere on a vacation, I go to the same place, I like the same hotel. If possible, I get the same room or the same type of room. I go to the same beaches or the same restaurants when I'm there. There's a lot of like monotony I'm feeling with this. With the hanged one, there's certain things I'm comfortable with and I'm sticking to it. Now, when I'm seeing the top, this is like your best advice, how this can go best for you. And that's a very thankful, secure card. And I feel like what they're saying here, just remember that you're secure and you're safe. Allow this possibility to come forward, and always remember you're secure and safe. It's kind of like somebody who wants to befriend you. Just because somebody's your friend doesn't mean you have to invite them over for dinner. Doesn't mean they have any access to anything of your personal information. Like, this person does not have access to your bank account, to your livelihood, to whoever else you hang out with or talk to. You can give people a chance. Remember how secure and safe you really are. Always remember how secure and safe you always are, even if you have to reiterate that. I'd even advise, maybe suggest, I'm a big fan of Paul McKenna. I don't have any of his books around me at the moment. He's a British author. He's got some very empowering information there. Some like things that will boost your ego, so like boost your self-confidence, I should say. So if you like Paul McKenna, or if you want to look him up, he has a list of books. If there's anything that jumps out to you, I'd say just go for it, because they're saying, remember, you are safe and secure. The tiger, that looks like a black tiger to me. In case you can't see it close up, I'm trying to get a little closer because there are like tiger stripes on the cat. It's just very dark. Hopefully you can see it, because it looks like a black tiger to me, which I love. I love the fact that that's a black tiger. We're just saying you have a lot of strength. Other people may not see it, but you know you have this strength. So you can give this situation a shot. You are strong. You can walk away from things that do not work for you. So just giving something a shot does not put you behind the 8 ball, so to speak, or put you in a bad position, or put you between a rock and a hard place. Just because you're giving it a shot does not mean you have to keep it. So keep that in mind. You have the potential for a lot of healing here. This next situation, if you allow it to come forward, you can have a lot of healing. This situation, there's more. Like, there's something else with that healing. Because I'm getting the possums, well, they're probably bears, but to me they look like possums. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be bears. But, like, I feel like you've been playing dead for a long time. Especially with the Hanged One and the Eight of Cups. Like, I feel like you walk away from great things. You walk away from things that could be much better for your life, and you could be a lot happier. Let's go a little farther. Let's just see. Because I feel like what they're saying is like, hey, how about you take advantage of this next adventure? Because you're walking away from a lot of great things in life. You've played it safe for so long that you play it only safe. And you can take a little bit of a calculated risk. It's kind of like saying, going to the casino, and you're like, you know what, I can afford to use $50 instead of going to dinner and seeing a movie. I'll take that $50 and I'll use it at the casino. If I walk out with it, great. If I walk out with more, even better. If I walk out with nothing, I would have used it on dinner and a movie anyway. So I feel like I break even, if you follow me. So it's kind of like the entertainment that I'm using for this. I can go in there and I can use this $50 to play at the casino. I just got to remember, that's it. I'm not, in fact, if you're like me, if you're anything like me, you will go to the casino with, for example, $50, and you will leave your credit cards, debit card, and any other money you might have at home, and you'll go with somebody else, kind of like you don't have access to it. So you can't go beyond $50. And also make sure the people that you're going with, remind them, like, listen, I'm purposely doing this because I don't want to spend any more of that. So if you give me any money, it's a gift. So if you're giving me money, it's a gift. Just remember that. What's going on? Yeah, this stress here. You can have so much more. All right, so other people and their ridiculousness. Yes, you've had some issues with people. That would be a normal thing in life. We all have issues. Some of us take it harder than others, granted. I'm going to go back to the Paul McKenna thing. One of the titles is I Can Mend Your Broken Heart, one of his books. It is geared towards romantic relationships. I've used it for business, personal, family relationships. It has nothing to do with like romance per se. It's just kind of like sorting out a relationship, seeing the truth of it, and then deciding what you want to do with it, and having that, control to like emotionally detach from it when you want to. So I would highly recommend that, because I'm getting like, there's been people in your path in the past where, I've tried to trust people, I've tried to do my best, and people stabbed me in the back, or I thought things were going to work out one way, and then I wasn't as important to them as they were to me, stuff like that. There's a lot of grief, obviously the word grief is here, in the sense of like, I just feel the pain of the past is still holding you down. And you're holding back, and you're not giving yourself a chance to enjoy these new possibilities or these new adventures, because you're like, that pain from the past, I don't want to live that again. That sucked when it happened at that time. I really don't need to relive it. The thing is, I'll give you an example. Like I had two dogs. I got the first dog in 2005 and the second dog in 2008. And this year they both passed away on me, which was very, very painful for me. But especially when the first dog passed, I remember thinking to myself, I'm lucky to be able to grieve. I'm fortunate that I had that time with my dog, that I knew how much value was in my dog, that I had that relationship with my dog. You know what I mean? I wouldn't give up any of those years. I loved having my dogs around. I still wish they were here today. I definitely didn't want them in pain, so I don't know if it matters. But both of them I had to have put down because their lives were more painful, and I just can't do that to an animal. So I had to let them go. But going through the crying and the pain, and the week after week of like thinking about the last time you saw them and all the other good stuff, realizing that was a gift. It was a gift that I was able to grieve it, because I had that moment to begin with. If I didn't grieve it, I never would have had the gift of all that time, that decade and a half I had with them. I never would have had that, and that would have been much worse than the grief I had that I was currently experiencing, to have never have had that chance. So what I'm getting with this is the same sort of thing is happening, kind of like the grief you had from the past. It may be very hard to see it that way, granted, but if you can kind of give it a shot, realizing that there was a lot of good that led up to that grief. And the thing is, you did learn a lot. You learned a lot about what was going on. You learned a lot about red flags, especially as we get older. We put up with things from people, things happen, and then we look back and we're like, oh yeah, that should have been a heads up. Kind of like when you have a friend, and like say you were in high school, and this friend would talk bad about everybody else behind their back, and you thought, oh, they wouldn't do that to me. 2 years pass by, and you're like, oh, look at all these knives in my back from that person. Oh, look at that. How shocking. When you're older, you're like, well, that should have been a heads up. If they're talking bad about everybody else behind their back, they're certainly doing it about you too. We all learn these things as we get older. So you've learned red flags. You learned what these red flags were. By going through that grief, you have thought this through. You have gone over this situation many a time. You know the red flags, and you are more sensitive to new red flags showing up. Granted, you don't know of every red flag in the world. I give you that. But you're more sensitive to see them now and more discerning. You got the Two of Cups as your possibility. So this doesn't have to be romance. It could be a great friendship. It could be a great connection with somebody. For a lot of you, I do think it's friendship, but it could definitely be romance, depending on your life. You could have another good connection coming in of somebody who deserves to be in your life, who actually would honor you the way you honor them. You could have a great connection coming in. And you also need to remember, if you find something, if this gossip thing starts happening, or things start happening that you don't like, you'll disconnect. You can always disconnect. You're like, nope, too many red flags, I gotta go. Or you can pull back. You don't even have to shut it all the way down. You could be like, we're seeing each other 3 or 4 times a week. It's a bit too much for me. How about once to twice a week? I got to do this. I got this other thing I got to do. I just need a break. I'm feeling kind of drained. I love hanging out with you, but I'm going to have to cut back. Ooh, that was hiccups. All right, so that could be hard. I granted, you might be nervous about that, like trying to pull back the energy, but you'll be able to do it. If you don't try, you'll never know. we need a little bit more advice on that, because this is kind of giving me hiccups and stuff. Kind of like, all right, what if this happens? Because I feel like that's a big concern. What if I start letting somebody into my life, and I don't see it until it's too late, and I'm like, oh, look at that, they suck. I didn't see it. I thought they were great, and now, oh no, they suck. Yep, they suck. Then what? Then what do I do? So let's just see. Any advice here? It's like, because I feel that nerve. I feel like I have respect for having that feeling. Like, yeah, what if I think they're great, and then, all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, not at all. No. Princess of Wands, King of Coins, Seven of Coins. Okay. And then you got the Queen of Cups also at the bottom that just kind of fell out. Hopefully I get this on camera. Which the Queen of Cups is telling me, you can slowly make decisions, and you can slowly pull back. I don't see anything coming in and shocking you that much, because I'm noticing these two cards here, the Seven of Coins and the King of Coins, which don't get caught up in the gender, but I'm getting, if somebody comes in your life, and they are a great match, you're still not going to give them the keys to your house. You're not going to give them all your bank account information. You're not going to tell them how to get this and how to get that. You're not going to share all your assets with them. It's not going to happen. What you will do, especially with these two, because these are very slow-moving cards, is you're going to kind of slowly get closer. It's kind of like you go out to dinner, you'll offer to pay for a little extra this. You're like, hey, you want an extra dessert? I'll pay for it, or you'll do this for them, or like, I'm going to go here. You want to come with me? I'll pay for it. This will be my treat. You'll also watch kind of like, all right, let me see if they do that back. Not that they have to pay for something, but do they do something in return? Are they kind of like, oh, I know you're going to be digging out your garden. You want me to come over? I'll help you do it. There's no money being exchanged, but you're kind of like, well, that's a lot of help for me. That's really something I appreciate. I'm not looking for a monetary payback, but the fact that they're returning that gratitude in a different way still works. Because I see you looking out for it, kind of like, I don't mind giving, but there has to be a balance. And sometimes people feel guilty about that, because there really does need to be a balance. You don't have to have an abacus or accounting ledger, kind of like, I gave you $7.23, where is mine? You don't have to holding people to that type of standard, but it's kind of like, I did for you the last 3 times, have you done anything for me? And I don't know if, you might want to bring that up to that person. I'm looking for a one hand washes the other relationship here. So I'm not saying you owe me money. I'm just saying, what are you doing for me? Are you going to help me get some stuff done? What are you doing that's helping? It could even be that this person, just to give you another balance, you do stuff for them, whatever it is you find acceptable, and maybe there's somebody who helps you talk out your problems, and they give you ideas to do things better. If you decide that that's acceptable, then that could be the balance. If it feels good to you, you have to decide for yourself. If you're like, well, that's partly okay, but there needs to be something else. I go out of my way for a lot of things for them. So I'm very thankful for them listening to me, but I listen to them too, so there has to be a little bit of something else. Then you try to create that balance too. And I feel like you'll also be, as you keep going forward, I think you'll kind of point out, I don't mind doing for people, but I need people to do back for me too. So, for example, once in a great while, say you need a ride home from the airport, are they there for you? Can they do that for you? And if they can't, do you find it acceptable, they just don't want to, or they literally can't? I'm getting you're really nervous to let something come in. But they're saying you got to give yourself credit. You're a lot smarter than you give yourself credit for. You won't fall for these things flat on your face. You can slowly go into these situations, give them a shot. You'll figure it out very slowly maybe, just to be fair. You might slowly figure it out, but as you slowly figure out that this person maybe isn't for you, you'll slowly back away from them. It won't be that bad. This will not be a situation where you're like, hey, everything's great, oh no, you suck. Oh, great. But, well, yeah. Well, yesterday I thought you were awesome, but now I realize now you suck. It's not going to happen like that. Just so you know, it's gonna slowly come in. Give yourself some credit. You can do this. You have the faculties to do it this time. You see the red flags. You're very sensitive to red flags. Even if it's not one you're familiar with, it'll start tinging in your head like, wait, that doesn't seem quite right. It'll roll around your brain for a while, and then you'll start researching it a little differently, and you'll talk to the right people. Does anybody else think this is weird? I was walking with my friend, and all of a sudden they just randomly flipped somebody off and kept going. And that person seemed very upset about that. I wasn't really sure what that was about. And somebody else be like, well, that seems like that's somebody who holds a grudge, or maybe there was a reason behind that. They shouldn't have been they might be like, yeah, that seems a little bit sketchy. Maybe you want to look a little closer. And that might give you a heads up, kind of like, oh, maybe I should like pull back a little bit, maybe ask a few questions what that was about, especially if they're willing to do that right in front of me. If they're not willing to talk about it, you're like, okay, fine, you don't want to talk about it, but at the same time you might be like, yeah, maybe I should pull back from this one. I once had a friend who had a history of ditching people. They'd be friends with these people for years and then all of a sudden ditch them. And I didn't understand it at the time until they did it to me. So it's kind of like one of those things where you might kind of realize there's a red flag if you run it by somebody else and be like, it doesn't sound right. Something about that doesn't sound right. I feel like there'll be people around you can bounce it off with. You could probably even leave a comment at the bottom of one of these videos about what you're going through. I'm willing to bet one or two people will probably comment back with what they think it's about. So you might get very fortunate that way. But I'm just saying, like, give yourself credit. You'll see things. If you just give it a shot, you don't have to miss out on the great part of life. And having people around you and going towards these adventures, that's your great part of life. Because I feel like you're stagnant, you're walking away from these great possibilities. And I feel like the fact why you chose this one is not the fact, it's not about the next adventure, it's about not walking away from the next adventure, if that makes sense. Like, you can have a next adventure, you keep walking away from it is what I keep getting. Don't walk away from it. Give it a chance. You may be surprised at how good it can get. Are we there? Whew, I think we're there. Okay, so that's it for this pile. Thank you for watching. If you like the reading, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. If you didn't like the reading but you thought it was on point, I'd still appreciate a thumbs up if you'd like. If you wouldn't mind, just in the sense of like you thought it was valid in that spirit, if you don't mind. Comments below is also very very helpful. If you, especially if you want to say, well, I thumbs up it, but this is why. I'd appreciate that. I really would. If you want a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. That information's below, along with the donation information. Same email. There's instructions below if you're interested. So thank you for watching, and you have a great day. Hello, pile 4, with the, oh, for the love of Pete, I just said it too. Amethyst. I don't understand what my brain block is with Amethyst, but if you chose Amethyst, this is the reading for you. Your next great adventure. What do we have? This deck I already shuffled, but the other ones I haven't. So let's see what's coming in. A couple aces and your top card. All right. So you do see you already see the 3 of Swords there. This is at the bottom. The Devil with the 7 of Pentacles. Playing it too safe. Playing it too safe, I feel like, is where the 3 of Swords is. That top card there, the Star card, this is like your advice. This is how this can go best for you. The role you could play to make this go the best for you. And what I'm getting is like a lot of like playful communication. The Star card is a very interesting card to me because it talks about Aquarius sometimes. Aquarius is very smart, but will also kind of push the envelope sometimes. They'll say things a little bit off color just to see how other people react, to find out where people actually stand for things. But they can be a very playful energy. They can be a very witty energy. So they're saying, let yourself step outside the box, have some conversations you normally wouldn't have. That can make this thing a lot different, a lot better. I feel like for some of you, your next adventure might be to challenge a relationship. It doesn't have to be a romantic. It could be a friendship. Sometimes that Star card, the way I've seen it, it does come in as a challenger once in a while. Something seems like it's been going on for a long time. There's something here I feel like that doesn't sit right with you. And you might have to risk the heartbreak. You know what? Let's get some clarification in that 3 of Swords before we go too far with it, because I'm feeling like risking the heartbreak. Like, that feels like that's high stakes. To me, that's personally high stakes. I'm a Pisces though, so risking a heartbreak, I'm like, ooh, that's high stakes. Like, are we sure about this? Let's just clarify or get some more information about that. Judgment. Knight of Cups. Okay. The the Four of Cups coming in at the bottom. When I see the Four of Cups, it's like something's being offered that you may not really want, but is actually really good for you. I hope that card is like, I hope you can see it. I don't know. There you go. We need to kind of break out of the monotony. When I'm getting the Knight of Pentacles over here, I really do feel like something's been going on a little bit too long. And I feel like maybe you're putting up with something that's not in, ironically, anybody's best interest. There might be somebody that you need to challenge, and you might need to kind of like, you know, step outside the box a little bit, start a conversation that might be a little bit uncomfortable. You might have to start it in a very creative way. So for example, maybe you're in a relationship and, you know, you're noticing that, like, say you should have like an extra maybe there's $500 missing from the joint bank account. Let's just say that for argument's sake. And you're noticing that, so you're like, I don't want to just accuse my partner of just, you know, taking the money and not telling me about it. So how do I get creative and, you know, try to start a conversation about where the money might be? So it might be like, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this stuff out on the table. I'm gonna have the things out that I've been, you know, charging to this account or the money I've been taking out. And I'll ask them, like, hey, you know what? Something's not adding up here, and I'm wondering if I might have transposed some of my numbers. Could you check my math here and tell me what you see going on? Because I think I must have added up something wrong. It doesn't seem like it's adding to the correct number. These are the things I've spent. This is what I started out with, but I keep thinking I screwed something up. That might be a creative way to kind of get them to look at it, figure it out, and try to figure out if they think money is missing. That way you're not flat out accusing somebody, but you're also kind of like, if you think something wrong too, like, let's work together and find out where it went off. Kind of like, instead of accusing somebody of like spending something and not telling you, you're just kind of bringing it forward like, hey, I don't know. I seem to think there should be more money in here. I'm wondering if I transpose some of the numbers of the things I took out. Can you help me try to figure this out? And I feel like that's one easier way to try to find out. If they're not willing to help you with that, that may be a first clue that like maybe there's something that stinks here. But you might have to find some creative ways to get this information to come forward. The Ace of Wands is kind of like, we first have to take the first steps and actively get the situation moving forward. There are some secrets in this situation. Secrets that need to come to light. When I'm seeing the Queen of Cups, there's secrets in this situation that need to come to light. Secrets that are not serving the situation, they need to come forward. You might have to be a little creative to get somebody to, you know, fess up, because it may not seem like the best way to some people. I give you that. I have some Aries tendencies in my chart, so I tend to go directly at something. I don't like to, you know, pussyfoot around it. Let's just deal with it and tell me what's going on. But on the other hand, if you have somebody who's just not likely to tell you the truth at first sight, if you kind of, you know, keep dancing around it and try to find different ways to get them to tell you the truth, the pressure might get the better of them. And they might realize, like, sooner or later you're going to figure it out anyway. Maybe it's in their best interest to just fess up as it is. Especially if you kind of come at them, like if we're going to use that same analogy with the accounting, kind of like, oh yeah, I'm looking at this. It doesn't seem to be adding up. I'm wondering if I transpose some numbers. Like, you're not accusing, but you're saying something's definitely not right here, but maybe I did it. You're just kind of like it is playing a game. You got me there. It is, truly is. But they might be like, oh, you're not accusing me yet. You don't know I did anything yet. So maybe if I show you where this is off and I tell you what I did, maybe this is a good time to say that and it won't be that bad. Maybe they feel like it's different. Like when you accuse somebody, they're already on defense. If you're giving them the chance to say, oh, I don't know what's going on, but I think something's not right here, you're giving them the advantage to be like, oh, before you find out what I did, maybe if I just tell you what I did while you're still in a fairly good mood, this can go well. Something like that. That would also be a good part to this. You want to kind of be in a fairly good mood when you do this. A fairly good mood, because it will probably go more to your benefit. I do want some more cards to come out. What do we want more cards to come out about? That star card. I want to give like some better information on that star card, because I feel like that can go more to your advantage there at the top. This reading is valid for when it comes to you, but I am getting this like pumpkin ghost feel here, like a very playful Halloween energy I am noticing. When I look at this in the viewfinder, at first I thought it was a pumpkin with a ghost popping out, and I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, no, it's just the way I'm looking at it. Just in case that matters. Yeah. You're very stable. Whoever you are, you know what's going on. It's one thing to do things wrong. It's another thing to correct it. When I got these two at the bottom, the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Wands, I feel like the way this is coming forward, also add in, I understand things aren't right, but we can correct them, and that correction is going to have to start immediately. I'm not saying it has to be all corrected right now. You don't have to put all that $500 back in right now, but I want $5, and you just hand me that money every time, and maybe we'll just, I'll keep a better eye on this account. And if you take money out again, you need to tell me. But when you're paying back that $500, hand it to me directly, and I will mark it off like you paid it back. That way there's no confusion. So I will deposit it for you. So I want $5 now as good intention. I want that right now. And then I'm gonna write it off here. I'm gonna keep this with me. And every time you hand me money, and you have to hand it directly to me for it to count, when you hand it directly to me, I'll approve it, and I'll take it off the balance that you owe. Because I know some people do that for whatever reason. It does sound a little bit rigid, I know that, but there might be a reason behind that. And again, it's just an analogy, so depending on who owes you money, because this might not be a romantic partner, this might be somebody you do business with or something like that. So, take it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm getting at with it anyway. Because I feel like it's slow and steady wins the race. I don't need it all corrected right now. Once I find out the truth about what's been going on, that you'll pass judgment and you'll be happy with the outcome because you'll give them a plan to take care of it. I do think things will rectify with this situation. The Ace of Cups will return. In case you want to see that a little better. If this does not get called out, there's something about this. Like, it's saying your next great adventure, or your next adventure. There's something about this that this person is a part of this next adventure, because I almost like I keep questioning like how does this add into your next adventure? I feel what they're saying is this person is a part of your next adventure, but if you have trust issues with them, it's going to screw this whole thing up. It really is. This is why this needs to come forward, because this is creating a trust issue. There's secrets here that don't need to happen. This needs to be called out. You need to let them know, hey, I know you're not right. I know you're doing something. They need to kind of get more on the ball with you. They also need to understand, like, you screw something up, you're going to have to, make it good. You're going to have to make it right. If you did something wrong, you're going to have to make it right. This seems to also have a really good chance of healing any trust issues. Because it might be something like, okay, the money's missing, and you may be thinking something worse, like that money's going, and you're doing something I really don't like maybe you're getting drugs, or maybe you're giving it to somebody I don't like, or maybe this, or maybe that. When you're finding out, oh wait, you you used that $500 on a gaming system? Oh, that was for who? Oh, that was for your niece, because hers broke, and it was kind of your fault. Okay. Okay, you were fixing some stuff something fell off the shelf, broke the gaming system, so you made it right with her. You just didn't tell me that that's what you did. Okay, so that's what actually happened. That I'm not so upset about that now, but you still should have told me, and you still need to make it right. So it's kind of like finding out the truth about what went on is really important, because it's like you don't like the fact that this is going on, but the reason behind it, I feel like will kind of be like, all right, listen, I understand what you did. You should have told me, and I would have been okay with it. You still have to make it right, yes, but don't hold these secrets from me. Like, I understand what you did. I understand it was a rare occasion. I understand you did what you felt you had to do, but don't hide this from me. Don't keep it a secret from me. Tell me what's going on. And I feel like this is why it might solve trust issues, so that this person, when this next adventure comes in, it feels more on your level. You feel more comfortable. You feel like the trust is there, rather than having these underlying like situations where you're like, I'm doing this, but I don't know if I can really trust this person. I'm out here in the field, and I don't really know if I feel as comfortable with this person as I should feel with them. This situation could damage your next adventure, which is a very interesting twist. I'm not surprised something like this came forward, but they're saying, like, let's correct this trust issue with this person, so that your next adventure is really a great adventure. All right, are we good? I think we're good. All right. So if you like this reading, of course, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it was valid, maybe you didn't like the message, but you thought it was valid for something you maybe needed to hear, or maybe you didn't want to hear it, but you're like, no, it's on point. I'd still appreciate a thumbs up if you'd like to. Feel free to leave a comment, especially if you want to leave a thumbs up and not give the reason why you left the thumbs up. That would be cool. If you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. That's below in the description. Donation information is also below in the description. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, Pile 5, those who chose the Adventurine. Let's see, what's your next adventure? I've already shuffled this main deck, but the other ones I haven't, so we'll just shuffle those as we go. Alright. The next adventure. It may look better than it seems. Okay. I'm getting that Knight of Cups, but I feel like what they're saying is something that you're very attracted to, or somebody that you like a lot. I feel like the advice, the top card is the advice, or how this can go best for you. Hold back and just watch this play out. Your next adventure might be to be a sideline player to watch from the stands, because I feel like something's about to play out, and you might see the truth about somebody. Somebody's going to go through some really difficult times, but if you stand back and let them approach you when they need you, I think what will happen is you'll find out the truth about what happened and why. You got Soulmate coming in. Okay. The bottom card here, I don't know if I can, hopefully you can see it. It's called Isolation. I feel like that's like reiterating the Hermit. And the Soulmate card next to it, to me, for you, is saying, you know, it's in your best interest to hold off. Wait. When I first saw this, I don't know why I thought the word was ghost. It's clearly quest. But I always feel like this is going to sound real bad. I know it's going to. You might want to kind of ghost this person for a little while and let them sort out their own mess. Maybe not just completely ghost them, like not, you know, no contact, no nothing. But kind of like, you know, sorry, can't help you today, got some stuff they got to do. Oh, can't talk right now, got some things I got to do. Maybe not like a hard ghost in the sense of like, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you came from, I don't know what you are. Not like that, but in the sense of like, oh, I'm real busy, or oh, I got this to do, or oh, I can't do this, or oh, I'm doing this at work, or oh, I got to help this person, I can't talk right now. You might want to just step away for a while, let this kind of play out for them a little bit. I feel like they're kind of playing something. Somebody around you is playing something. This is quite the adventure. Because I was like, is this... Yeah, this is quite the adventure. You need to see the truth of this person. And if you step back and you just watch it play out, I feel like you'll actually get that sideline seat. Because if you're not directly involved in it and you're not hearing all the things they're telling people, you're just getting to watch what's actually happening, I think you're going to be shocked about how things start falling apart. Because I'm getting that Tower card is the first thing that you're going to notice. How things are very explosive and what this person is actually doing. This person is actually complicating the situation. I feel like this person, the more people that get involved, the worse the situation gets. And the more people get involved, those people are also added to the detriment. It's like if you're helping this person try to fix their mess, you're owning part of that mess that should not be yours to begin with. Ooh, this is quite the adventure. I keep feeling like it's an adventure in the sense of like, you know, it's an adventure you don't have to participate in. Just because it's an adventure doesn't mean it's fun. You know what I mean? I think of like, what was that, Jumanji? That latest Jumanji with The Rock and... who else was in that? There was a few people in that one. It just didn't look like... I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to be there. That's all I'm saying. It was an adventure that I wouldn't want to participate in. You got the Two of Swords like, jumping out of the deck here. It's hitting me in the hand, so I'm just going to throw it out there. Oh, we got to hear the truth. The truth is going to come out. It's going to be hard for you. This is at the bottom of the deck. It's the Seven of Wands. It's going to be hard to stay out of the negativity, but if the more you hold yourself to it, the more you hold in this Hermit card energy, the more you stay out of it, the truth will come forward. other people will take over. And I feel like when you see somebody else take over, you're going to notice the more they get involved, the worse it gets. And the more that person gets involved, the more the person that got involved has to deal with it and fix it themselves. It's kind of like helping somebody with a ride and then realizing one of the reasons that they lost their ride is because they're a nightmare to be with in the car. And you're like, great. Not only do I have to go out of my way to get this person, but now I have to deal with them crying and whining and complaining for an hour and a half while I take them where they have to go. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot coming forward. Whew, the energy is like really like heavy. Is there a way we can lighten it up, or is this just what it is? Because I'm getting the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Rods. While those cards are normally compatible, in this situation, I don't feel it. I feel like one person is saying one thing, the other person's doing another. Things are not matching up. Things are not looking correct. I feel like we're seeing a lot of infighting, but it's like miscommunication, lack of communication, and seeing it from the sidelines. It's like what they call, is that like a Monday morning quarterback, where it's like once the game is played, everybody can see what should have been done, but while you're playing the game, it's a lot harder to do that. I think they call that Monday morning quarterback, because it's feeling like you're in that position of the Monday morning quarterback, but you don't have to tell people what they should have done. That's not the point of this. What the point of this is like seeing it from the outside, going, oh, that's why that turned out that way. Oh, that's what's going on there. The Three of Coins. There's a lot of work. A lot of work coming in. You don't have to do this. Once you get involved in this is called the trap card, the Eight of Swords. People feel trapped in a situation. You don't have to be. It's coming right in here with the Two of Swords here at the bottom, if I can push them up into frame. You don't have to get stuck in this quagmire. This is quite the adventure. If you allow yourself to get roped into it, I feel like it'll go on for months. A few months. I just feel like things are said to people that shouldn't have been said to people. People have the wrong idea about why this person's helping that person. We have to explain to this one to that one. Then we have to go find out why this happened. Then, well, this person thought that was going on, so this is why they did this. It's a mess. I'm telling you, it's going to be quite a mess. It's going to take months to sort out. If you just hold back and you just kind of ghost the situation, you know, within respect, like I said before. Like, you don't have to be like, I don't know who you are, what you are, why you're talking to me. You don't have to be to that level. But to the point like, oh, I'm busy, I can't today. Or maybe I'll talk to you later, I gotta go. I'm sorry, I got this to take care of. Like, you just keep stepping away from a conversation, which to me is a version of ghosting. It may not be as rude as just kind of like, I don't know who you are or why you're talking to me. That type of ghosting. But if you do that, somebody else will take over. Somebody else can take, you know, to take this burden. Don't worry about the other person who takes it over, by the way, because they'll learn their lesson the way they need to. I know this is a general read, but when I'm feeling this energy come in, this person might actually, like they'll get stuck in the middle of this mess, but they'll kind of own the mess afterwards, and then they'll clean house. So, don't try to manage this person. Just if somebody else takes over, which it looks like they're gonna, just step back and let that happen. Like, they're gonna do what they need to do. I just feel like their energy and your energy are different. This is not something you would enjoy. Not that this person's going to enjoy it either, but because this Ten of Swords is here, there's definitely devastation. But how you get through the situation versus what they do, because I feel like they're going to take over the situation, and they're going to be like, well, it may have gone to crap, but you know what? We're going to clean it up, and this isn't going to happen again. There's a very dominant, very, very dictatorial energy with this. This is a very strong person. I would also say, like, I view kings and queens as equal. This is an alpha leader. Just in case you're a person who doesn't realize that, males and females both have the capability to lead equally. This is an alpha leader. This person will take over and correct it. Let them. It's a headache and a half. They've decided. I feel like they're going to get ticked off about the situation, which is another reason you want to step back. I feel like whether you get involved or not, this person still takes over. So it doesn't matter, like, you can be a part of this and deal with this person, or you can stay out of it and not deal with this person. I recommend you stay out of it. That may be part of why this is such an adventure. That is an alpha leader. This is an alpha leader, I'm telling you. And they're going to be looking to clean house. You don't have to be a part of this. Because there's a lot of, like, I'm sure you saw this card, vanity, with the Knight of Wands. People just thinking they know what the best thing is to do and rushing forward and being like, I know what I'm doing, this is how it's going to go. And then the Queen of Rods is going to come over here and say, you know what, take you and your little vanity and get lost because I'm not putting up with it. So it could get a little brutal because this vanity will go from this to this, and somebody's going to be eating their words. It's not going to be fun. That Ten of Swords, it's not a card most people like to play with. The Ten of Swords, I'm very hard-pressed to see a time when that has been an enjoyable card. I can't think of one time. The Tower card once in a while isn't that bad, but the Ten of Swords, well, I mean, if you're watching from the sidelines, yeah, no, even watching from the sidelines, I don't see you kind of enjoying that. Just to be fair, I really don't think so, but, you know, to each their own. Is there anything else with this? I feel like it's interesting with this last one, because I feel like they're saying, if you want this adventure, feel free, but you don't have to, and just because it's an adventure doesn't mean it's fun. Just forewarned, be forewarned. I think we're good, though. Alright. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to leave a thumbs up, of course, if you like this, I'd appreciate this. If you thought this reading was on, but you really didn't care for it, but you did think it was valid, I would appreciate the thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment about why you left a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that too. Any comments appreciated, of course. Well, any positive comment, I should say. Careful what I ask for. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. That's below in the description. The donation information is also below if you'd like that. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.